All right. Any other questions about government shutdown, anything like that? It's crazy. It's pretty crazy that this actually happened. All right. My goals for today is that you can describe the rights of the accused. So if you ever end up, hopefully you will not, in the position that you are accused of a crime, you will know your rights. Not only that, but you will be presented with a few court cases tomorrow where you're going to have to argue for the defendant's rights or see if they had a fair trial. And then I want to spend about 10 minutes at the end of class doing vocabulary bingo and answering any questions that you have about vocabulary, as well as showing you Shelby's website that she made, not our Shelby, Hatfield's website that she made, where it has all the flashcards and stuff like that. Okay, in the Bill of Rights there are certain articles that protect the accused. What specific bills are there? You can name one that protects the rights of people who are being accused. Go ahead. Yes, the 6 is one. Another one. Yeah. 7th. Very good. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, the projector, it doesn't work, so I'm going to have to just type. I forgot about that when I was making this little presentation. 6th, 7th. There's 3 more. Can you be tortured when you are arrested? 8th. Very good. Good. 4th and 5th. Good. So the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. When you are arrested, every single person in this country has the right to due process. And these are expanded by the Warren Courts, Justice Warren, who is in the Supreme Court from 1953 to 1969. Earl Warren, good old Earl. Does anyone know what due process means? You have the right of due process under the law. Any guesses? It's simple. Rights of the accused. So due process laws are laws that protect the rights of the accused. There's 2 types of due process laws. The first one just basically says laws must be reasonable. So when we make a law, laws must be reasonable. And second, easily also says laws must be enforced in a fair manner. So I can't just say, okay, all women are protected by this law, but men are not. That's not, unfortunately, fair. So I would be violating procedural due process laws. Laws must be enforced in a fair manner. 2 amendments talk about due process. The first one says, government cannot keep anyone from life, liberty, and property. By the way, who said life, liberty, and property? Does anyone remember? Yes? He said life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, or a piece of candy. Somebody tell me, who said the right to life, liberty, and property? Thomas Jefferson took this from that person. John F. Close. John Locke. Very good. Yeah. So government cannot keep anyone from life, liberty, and property without due process of the law. The 14th Amendment, says states have the same limitations as the federal government. So if the federal government can illegally search your house, states also can't illegally search your house. The federal government can't torture you, states also cannot torture you. Does that make sense? Everyone is, the 14th Amendment also says everyone is treated equally under the law. So just because, so President Obama can't come over to my house and say, this is now my house. Not that he would want to, but this is now my house. He cannot. Everyone's treated equally. Even though he's president and I'm lowly teacher, everyone is treated equally against the law. Are we all good? Awesome. Power of the police. Listen carefully. These are your rights if never, I'm sure will happen, but if you are arrested or wrongly accused of something, which I'm sure would happen if you were all arrested. The police has the authority in every state to act to protect public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Isn't that interesting that the police have the right to protect our morals? It's kind of subjective to me. What is morals? Anyways, it's interesting. Often this creates a conflict with civil rights, and it's up to the court to maintain a balance. For example, you could say it's my right to drink if I want to drink. But the police will say you can drink, but you can't drink and drive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, good. The Fourth Amendment. What does the Fourth Amendment tell us? Very good. So we cannot protect against what? Good. Illegal search and seizure. Protects against illegal search and seizure. If police want to go into your house and they don't have probable cause, for example, let's say Emily F. kidnaps Emily R. Sorry, Emily R. And holds her in her basement until she gives her all her homework. Typical Emily F. Nice job. The police cannot search Emily's house unless there's probable cause. So if they hear the other Emily yelling in the basement, help, help, I won't give you my homework, there's probable cause. They can go into Emily's house. But if they just think maybe it was Emily F., they have to get a search warrant. And with search warrants, there's something called exclusionary rule. Anything illegally seized, so seized illegally, cannot be used in court. There's a very famous court case called Weeks versus U.S. 1914 that says anything that is illegally gotten cannot be used in court. The Burger Court, Justice Warren Burger, adds exceptions later on to the exclusionary rule, and we're going to look at them down here. Mapp v. Ohio, very important court case. Highlight it, underline it. It's going to be on your test. Let's see, can I do that? I'll just underline it. This exclusionary rule applies to both the federal and the state government. So this is not just state, this is not just federal, it applies to both governments. Your automobiles have less protection. All the officers need is probable cause to just completely search it, including a locked trunk. So let's say you're pulled over and the officer smells marijuana in your car. That's probable cause. If you're pulled over just like Jay-Z was, just because you're, young and you're black and your hat's real low, right? Yeah. That was good. I did like that. That's not probable cause. But if there's probable cause, like the officer said, let's see if you're so smart when the canines come and they sniff your car and they start barking or they're interested in a certain area of your car, that's probable cause. Terry v. Ohio is an important court case because this is the court case we're going to be really trying to either uphold or overturn, which is stop and frisk laws. Who's heard of stop and frisk laws? They're a huge issue in New York City. Basically, in New York City, you can be stopped and frisked at any time without any probable cause. This does not make a lot of people happy. There's videos that we'll see that talks about one poor kid being frisked 32 times. Do you think this was a white, wealthy person? No. Right. So minorities are really unhappy with this. But then we'll also see the police talk about how this really helps them. So, and then we're going to end our unit with you all actually taking this court case to the Supreme Court. You're going to be divided up into teams, you're going to have to research it, and you're going to take it to court. The Burger Court adds exceptions to this exclusionary rule. So illegally obtained material is okay to bring to court if the police would have figured out the discovery without doing the illegal thing that they were doing. So for example, let's say they bust into Emily's house and they find a strand of Emily R's hair. And then they test it, and then they realize Emily F's has something to do with Emily R's disappearance. But so that officially would be under the exclusionary rule that's illegally seized. It cannot be used in court. But then later on, they get a real warrant. They go in and they find another piece of hair. So that hair could be used. Kind of understand? Okay. Yes.
What about unlike criminal minds, they don't have rights to be like
They would say police sometimes push the probable cause. So maybe they could say, okay, the door is suspiciously open. Or, yeah, but that would be definitely contested in court whether or not they could use that. And there's court cases where basically they've found murderers with like trinkets of their people who they killed and stuff like that, and they're overturned and those people are let free because they're not legally gotten they did not legally get that information. Yeah.
Okay, well, I've seen on some shows that like they go into buildings, they think someone's in there, and then they're like, but they don't hear anything, they don't have probable cause to go in until the cops are like, oh, I think I heard something.
Right.
Okay. Are they even allowed to do that? And if they
No.
How would they know?
Right. It's shady. Yeah. Yeah.
If someone, because a lot of times, like, uncriminalized people that they're after have passed, like, on their records, like, have they said gun crimes, could that be used as probable
No.
cause?
Yeah. Morgan?
If there was, like, they were trying to search this house, and it was, like, the wife answered the door, and they were like, can we search your house? Do you think that your husband might be involved in a murder? And she was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. If they get permission from one of the owners of the house, they can search the house.
So they don't have to have a warrant for that.
If they get permission. No. Yeah. The U.S. v. Leon says that good faith establishes good faith. So if something was accidentally received. So let's say a cop really believed, and again, how do you know they really believed that they had a correct warrant? So let's say the cop believed that they had a warrant to search the whole house. So they searched the whole house and they found a murder weapon in the bedroom. But it turned out that they only had a warrant to search the kitchen. Leon v. U.S. v. Leon says that it's okay if it establishes good faith. That the cop really thought that the warrant was for the whole house. So he searched the whole house. It was really for the kitchen. That's still okay. Again, a little shady. Drug testing. Cops do not need a warrant to drug test you. Your employer does not need a warrant to drug test you. So drug testing is not protected. Wiretapping. The courts find wiretapping okay with a warrant. The federal government does not need a warrant, even though it's up in court, up and down. Yes, no, it's constitutional, it's not constitutional. Right now, the federal government could be wiretapping you. So they could be listening in on your conversations. I don't know why they would want to do that. I think you guys are very interesting, but would not be interesting to the FBI, hopefully. But yeah, wiretapping is okay. But the cops would need a warrant to get a record of your phone calls and stuff like that. Any questions? All right, let's try to make it through this, and then we're gonna do our bingo game. Fifth Amendment. What does the Fifth Amendment say? Prohibits forced. Good. My goodness, I can't type. Prohibits forced self-incrimination. prohibits forced self-incrimination. You cannot be forced to incriminate yourself. The burden of proof to incriminate you rests with the police or prosecution. Remember, the prosecution is, what is the prosecution? Who is the prosecution? Good. Person, I like that. Against the defense. This applies to congressional sessions and the police station. So even if you're not in court, you still don't have to incriminate yourself. The only time someone has to incriminate themselves is if the government guarantees immunity. Yes.
Okay, so like typically one, when they're in court, and like they'll figure out like the daughter had something to do with it. So if she would have like, even though she kept constantly like pushing questions on her, if she were to say like, I plead the fifth in the middle of that, would that be fine?
It would have been, but it would have been really suspicious to the jury because the daughter was just brought up on, just questioning about how the other girl murdered her father. So if she said, I plead the fifth, the jury could have been like, wait, I thought you were just a witness telling what happened. But Elle tricked her into, yes, that's correct. So for example, let's say Katie, obviously. Katie is like a drug dealer, and she's caught. And we say, Katie, it's okay. We give you immunity. We will not give you any charges if you tell us who supplies you with the drugs. So you will be completely off the hook, but you have to say, I did it, and Amanda gave me the drugs. Amanda, really? The big, we all know Elena was the one bringing it into the country. Amanda, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. Miranda v. Arizona is one of the biggest court cases, the biggest trials. Miranda v. Arizona sets guidelines for police questioning. Sets guidelines for police questions. So every time you're arrested, or when you're arrested, or when you see other people being arrested, or when you see it on shows, you'll hear them say, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to eternity. And I believe I put them right here. Anything you say or do will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer. This is a clip. Has anyone seen 21 Jump Street? This is a hilarious clip about Miranda rights. Oh, brother. Get bad. Why are they get bad? Fine.
The department was forced to drop the charges because you forgot to read him his Miranda rights. What possible reason is there for not doing the only thing you have to do when arresting someone?
I did read him his right. I did a version of that.
Do you even know the Miranda rights?
Yes.
Let's hear them then.
You got a lot of stuff to do.
Well, go ahead. You going anywhere, Schmidt? You got time?
I had a thing, but I could probably push it back.
Go ahead. It's 4 declamatory sentences followed by a question for a total of 57 words.
Okay. It obviously starts with you have the right to remain silent. I heard you before. And then I think it sounds something like what do you think? Right. You have the right to remain an attorney.
Did you say that you have the right to be an attorney?
You do have the right to be an attorney if you want to.
Where were you?
I was chasing my perp, sir.
And how did that go for you?
Honestly, he did get away, and he threw me down pretty hard. Actually, fucked up my elbow.
I was trying to... Man, this is not... Whoa, full screen? All right. I don't know why this is not working.
It's okay, because in theology, we watched the video that said the F word like 5 times.
Yeah, in English they both have the B word.
Huh. So I wonder why this is not working. This is not what I want to do.
For the test, we need to know the dates of the major court cases, like the years.
The dates for the major, no, I'm not going to make you know the dates. Although I'll put them. Alright, I don't know why this is not, my screen isn't working.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to watch it again. Okay, let's go back. You guys aren't going to see the PowerPoint. Go back to the PowerPoint. You have the right to remain silent. Whatever they say can be used against them in court. That's the fill in the blank. Against them in court. While I struggle with my computer. Right to a lawyer, right to attorney is another major one. Miranda rights. You do not need to be read your Miranda rights when you are fingerprinted. When you, any photography, handwriting sample, or police lineup. They don't need to read your Miranda rights with any of those. Bail. You have the right to a reasonable bail. Bail is money. The accused pays to ensure they will show up in court. So Amanda, once Katie named her as a drug dealer, she's gone, so we'll go to Elena. Once Katie named Amanda and Elena as the major drug dealers, have to put down a certain amount of money so that they can go home and wait for 50 days until the trial begins. So they don't have to just chill in jail during that time. I really don't like this computer. I am. I'm holding it down right now. Maybe control.
Like $1,200.
Here we go.
I've never had bail.
Bail depends on how much you make. Depends on, how much you make, and then how much, what you did. Double jeopardy. So bail, we do not guarantee bail. Let's say there's a serial killer out there. We don't want him to be back on the street, or her, probably him. We don't want him to be back on the street, so we're not going to give him bail. He's just got to chill in jail until his trial comes up. Double jeopardy is you cannot be accused of the same crime twice, and you cannot be punished for the same crime twice. The only exception is sexual predators. They can be confined after released from prison. They also have to put down where they live. They have to register where they live. So you can literally look up and see the sexual offenders in your neighborhood, which honestly I think you should. You Google sex registry. No, that's sex offender registry, state of Kentucky, and then you'll put in your zip code and you can
There's also the one that you can see where, like, just people who've had crimes.
You can see exactly what crime takes place and stuff like that. All right, coming around to you right now is the Jeopardy game. I also, let's see if I can get this thing to work. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. Here we go. Recording. I think it's the recording. Can you pass this out for me, Sarah? Shelby has made a fantastic series of flashcards. If you Google this, S. Hatfield 333, S. Hatfield 333, you can go through these flashcards. I went through those flashcards and changed some of my definitions on the quiz, so they're very similar to hers. I don't know what's going on with this. I want to stop recording. Stop.
You just Google that. You go on
S. Hatfield at 333. If you Google this, it'll show up. All right, does anyone have any questions before we do this bingo game? I'm going to read the definition. You all are going to tell me, or you're going to check what word the definition goes with. Got it? I'm going to read the definition. You're going to tell me. So here's, for example, the first one is going to be money the accused pays to ensure they show up in court. Money the accused pays to make sure they show up in court. Spoken lies. Spoken lies. The S is the way I remember that. Spoken. Yay! All right. This is something the judge gives, which orders somebody to show up in court with documents, specific documents.